Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Well, hey everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay. Another strange day.
Another strange day, yeah.
Yeah. Aren't they all? Aren't they all becoming strange days, really? Mm-hmm. We've got kind of a situation going on here as I'm still dealing with my fucking washing machine. And so I'm kind of in and out.
Waiting for the guy.
Yeah, we're waiting on a dude right now. But the problem is we're in a bit of a time crunch as it's at recording time. We've been here all day, but Jay's got to leave before too long. And so we're trying to get as much.
We're up against it.
Yeah, we're up against it.
We're going to talk fast.
So, yeah, we'll talk really fast. Maybe we'll do a shorter show today. I don't know what else to do. But anyway, how are you, pal?
Very well.
Doing all right?
Yes.
E, you doing all right?
Awesome.
There you go. I'm not doing awesome, by the way. I don't know if you guys caught any of that football game last night. Probably not Monday Night Football.
I know who won, but that's it.
Who won?
Who played?
New England won. I know that.
Patriots beat the Ravens.
I love
Dude.
the rate.
Remember that?
Wait, what?
I love the Patriots. Sorry,
No, you do not love the Patriots.
Whatever.
they're my second team.
No, they're not. You love Tom Brady. You don't give
No,
a
you
shit
know
about
what?
the Patriots.
That's not true. You know what? I really like dynasties, even if they're not mine. So I respect dynasties, and that's
Yeah.
a crazy team. The fact that team has been able to keep going how they have, and I mean not just be relevant, but I mean 11-2 again this year.
That Tom Brady guy, by the way, is really good. I don't know if you guys have seen him, but he is. I watched like a little bit of the first half of the game, and it's amazing when you're like looking at a team like him just surgically go down the field. It's like, holy shit. It is such a different level than when you watch the Lions play and eke out a win versus the Bears versus a team like New England. It's unbelievable. But
Why are you upset?
well, I'll tell you. Remember yesterday when we did that horrible, horrible story about Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Having to go and you brought it up. I wasn't going to bring it up, but you brought it up. So, I felt
5-year-old boy dying in Santa Claus's arms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that story that you brought up that I didn't. It was on my radar, but I wasn't going to go there. I knew it would bum you out. I knew it would bum Sarah Titties out. And so I wasn't going to go there until you brought it up. But along those lines, Tom Rinaldi, one of the reporters or whatever at ESPN, decided to do a story about a 10-year-old boy.
Died in Santa's arms?
No, but may as well have. No, he was at the game last night in his wheelchair. He looked great. But the kid had a brain, and they love doing these tearjerker stories. Dude, it was little Logan. He's 10 years old, and he starts having like vision problems, as a little guy, as a wee one. And so his parents take him to the hospital, and they find out he's got a grapefruit-sized tumor on his brain.
God damn.
Yeah, and so he's had like 6 surgeries now, and they've decided that, we can't do any more surgeries. And so the kid's asking his dad on the way home, like, am I going to die from this? And his dad's like, yeah, maybe. Having to have that conversation with him. And so this kid, he's a huge Tom Brady fan, huge Patriots fan. He's like, he likes dynasties and whatnot. And so he asked at his last brain surgery, he asked the surgeon before he goes in, he says, hey, can you do me a favor? And the guy's like, yeah, name it. He's like, can you carve number 12 into my skull? Like literally into his skull. And so this doctor,
What a morbid kid, man.
yeah. So the doctor goes and like looks up Brady's jersey and the way, there's the little guy, the way the 12 is on his actual jersey. And this dude like carves
What?
the number 12 into his skull, and they have pictures of it and stuff.
Into his skull? You're not just talking about a haircut here.
No. I mean drilling it out of his brain skull.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You see it?
I do.
Could have done a better job on the 12, honestly, but it's not bad. You
The
can
one.
you can-
Like, why don't you move it? You've got this big template over to the side. Why don't you move it over to the right a bit?
the space does look a lot clearer over here.
Yeah.
You could have done a better job with the 12. And wouldn't you be better off having the Patriots logo instead of the 12? Like the 12 should be done on his spine or something. I'd get that, but on the side of the head is where the logo goes. But anyway,
That is bizarre.
He's 10 years old. So anyways, at the end of this goddamn story, so finally word gets to Brady, and Brady sends him a video like, hey,
Yeah,
man.
I think you got to have the kid out. He's carved your number in his head.
Yeah, and he's dying, and so Brady sends him a message like, hey, I'm a big fan of yours. Keep fighting, blah, blah, blah. And so Tom Rinaldi asked this kid, like, what do you want to say to your mom, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm sorry that you have to watch me die. And I'm just like, oh, you son of a bitch. I didn't think you were going to make me cry, Logan. That's what he's sorry for? Oh. And it's the Christmas season. So, yeah, you ask why I'm in a bad mood? That. Fuck. It was brutal, dude. It's brutal.
They have to mix these feel-good stories with sports all the time.
Yeah, and then they show him on the sideline sitting there in his wheelchair all bundled up watching the game. And, just a devastating story. I'm sure people that were watching the game pregame at least saw that. And, so anyway. I feel like I should go check on my
Check on your washer.
my washer guy. Can you guys talk amongst yourselves for 5 minutes?
Yeah, E, what do we got? What do we got to talk about today, my friend? Did you do any comedy last night?
I did do some comedy last
Oh my
night.
lord, it went well. No
It
doubt.
was in the Detroit. I don't do comedy very often in the Detroit proper, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, this was actually at a bar 2 bars over from where we had dinner recently, Slows.
Okay.
It was called LP's something. It's funny, I took a picture of the sign. It was actually a cool bar. There are a lot of really cool, I know it's a hipster thing, but there's a lot of really cool little bars in that area of Detroit. If you I don't know when you can get to them. I guess maybe pre-Red Wings games or stuff. But where they still have like the old Tiger Stadium or old Tigers logo with like those bar signs that are
Right.
just kind of cool hipster shit.
Good turnout.
It's a weird show. I was telling Mike about this.
It's not a good turnout, is it?
Technically, it was. It was in this
Yeah?
back room of this little
So it
little
would have
bar.
been Monday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in the back room of this bar, and there was probably only 20 seats in this little like probably maybe I don't know what it would have been back in the day. Maybe they had a pool table back there or
Yeah.
something. Kind of one of those those old bars where they just have this little back room for whatever reason. And so that was full actually. So I mean, it was as many people as could have been in the room. But the guy has kind of a different concept, and that's where he wants people to heckle. It's a pro heckling show.
Oh shit.
So it's kind of tough because he's encouraging, which is kind of interesting because it adds some flavor to it and everyone's active, but you really have to just go up there and kind of just...
Is it just willy-nilly heckling, though? Or
Yes.
Is it, okay, so it's just like, you suck, man.
Well,
Hey, man, you suck.
It's
not like they're listening and playing off what you're saying.
They try to tell you, well, if you have something funny to say it. So people weren't necessarily saying you suck, at least not to me. My story about I tried to still tell the story about the Jacks, even in that environment. I still thought maybe that was such a crazy story that it might actually get them to listen. And I think I actually did. I think mine went over as well as anyone's, only because of how crazy the story was. The only issue I had was not as much hecklers, but people just, because of the heckle nature, people just started asking questions, which
Oh, shit.
understandable. I mean, look at the story I'm telling them.
Yeah.
I was telling Mike, though, what was kind of funny is there was this girl. There's 3 girls from Chicago. And believe it or not, I hope they were doing other... sometimes people like from here will go to Chicago for a week
Right.
and do open mics. So I'm hoping they didn't just drive to Chicago for this one Monday night. I'm hoping maybe they're at, some other places. But there was this one she was Lebanese. And most of her set was honestly about her, like, talking essentially about how good looking she was, or that she got breast implants and she's happy to have them.
Oof.
Like,
Was she hot? She better have been hot.
I think she
No?
probably was hot, and to a lot of guys, she probably was pretty hot. She did have some nice boobs that were fake, which she pointed out in her set as, I don't even know if as a joke or just really telling us a story that she has fake breasts. Here's what I'll tell you. She told a story about how she did go to college. I think she appeared to be kind of smart, or at least have some level of being able to get into school. But then she decided she wanted to do acting and comedy. And to let you know how it kind of went, at one point, she literally just told a story that, I went out for an acting gig recently, and they told me I was too good looking. And she was being totally serious. It was not even like... I
a good
really,
way to get the room to hate you.
I really thought about yelling. The only problem is I knew I hadn't gone up yet. I don't know how it's really going to be perceived, but I really thought about yelling out, like, get over yourself.
Nobody did that?
No, it kind of let it go. You got a bunch of guys in here doing comedy. We're all probably like me. Maybe you have this hope that if you just treat her respectfully as a comic,
You'll get a
and then
blowjob or something.
she sees you're sad and she'll say you were funny. I guess I have a feeling that a lot of comics would have a hard time. You know what I mean? There'd be a thought, and you're a guy. I'm
Yeah.
a guy. You know how that goes.
So did you make it through your story, though?
I made it through.
People didn't stall it with all the questions?
These-
It could have been funny, right? People
you know what?
asking questions?
I'm really mad I didn't record it because he didn't give the list ahead of time either. Usually I know, oh, I'm going to be fifth up once you get there. You don't know, when you get there, but once you get there, he tells you, here's the list. And I didn't know, so I unfortunately didn't get my phone going. I did get through most of the story. I had to kind of speed it up near the end a little because there was questions. But I thought in the end, actually, I think even though it was a weird setting, I think mine went over the most because although there was interaction, it wasn't really heckling as much as people curious about what I'm telling them in front of them. So it's all right. It is what it is. 3 hours though, man.
That's really astounding.
These things are so brutal, honestly, at times though. And it's not even the room. It's not even everything. It's just the act of doing it. I think
Open mics.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably don't realize, not that they care, but like, it's not just me even just showing up. I had to leave at 6:30 from my house because he says that check-in is at 7:30. Well, then a lot of times you have to get there on time, assuming that they'll start. But a lot of times they don't start on time because the crowd isn't there yet. So they say, let's wait another half hour. So, I leave my house at 6:30. I didn't get home till 12.
Ugh, well, at least you got paid a bunch.
I lost $5 because I bought 2 PBRs for $2 a piece and I tipped $1.
Oh, he tipped $1.
Wow.
Look
Tipped
at
$1
you.
on
He
2.
learning.
50%. That's
Why'd you tip at that bar and not the Palace bar?
because I was at a bar. How's it going, Mike?
Oh, good.
I think we held
Is
out
it all
the fort.
set?
No.
No?
No.
What's the status?
I'm glad it's got an F-71 air code while he's over there. I went in and I'm trying to talk to him, but he's on the phone, and so I wait till he turns around, and I'm like, "How's it going?" And he just turns away from me, and he starts talking on the phone. He's like, you can tell he's fucking pissed.
Yeah.
They're making him go through. So he's pulling his shit out, and going through like the wires again. So I don't know. It doesn't look good, but yeah, I
Just
tried.
replace it, you son of a bitches.
Dude. Here's the thing that's so fucking irritating too.
It's right there.
And it's not. It's not his
him,
fault.
it's not him, you're
It's
right.
not any of these repair guys, but they're not keeping accurate logs of some sort. So this is the first dude that was here.
Yeah, and he thinks he's only been here once.
He thinks he has
like
only been
3
here
other
once.
visits.
There's 3 other visits in 2 months' time, and so it's like, yeah, the records show that I'm the only one that's been here. I'm like, dude, I'm not making this up. I swear to God, it hasn't been working great since you left, and now here we are again.
Would companies, I mean, I don't know. I know I'm not the
If
most.
you're thinking of signing up, by the way, for the Sears,
Warranty, home warranty.
home warranty thing, where it's like, yeah, for you could spend $1,000 on parts for a new unit, or you could pay a one-time fee of $60. That covers everything.
Would you counsel against that, Mike?
And
at this point?
and then you just pay $30 a month, and it covers all your appliances. Yeah. And if we come out there and decide that we can't fix it, then we will give you $500 towards a new unit. It's like, wow, that sounds like a great deal. Whatever. It's fucking bullshit. It's a fucking scam because they've been out 5 times now, replaced multiple things. It's been months. And over the weekend, I was on the phone for an hour with this guy, and I'm like, dude, I was swearing on the phone at him. I was so fucking mad. I'm like, dude, just what do we need? Because I found a unit on sale that I was going to go buy over the weekend, and I'm like, dude, the sale ends Sunday, so I don't want to have these guys keep coming out here every couple weeks, replacing another part, and then leaving, and it's still broken. So can we just fucking move this thing forward, and you give me the code that's necessary? Apparently, I need some tech code, and he's like, oh, we can't do that. Unless a tech is on site to give us that code. I'm like, okay, let me talk to your fucking manager then. He's like, I am the manager, sir. Okay, dickhead. So that's why these guys have come out again, and now
Dude, you want to talk
playing this game, and it's like, fuck. dude, if you can't get it right after 5 times, I don't know what to tell you. Like, at what point does it kick in and go, yeah, we can't get it fixed? So
Trump talks about a rigged, he's going to talk about a rigged system in the election, dude.
Wrong.
Companies, it's all set up now to pay nothing out, to have people eventually just say, fuck it, I'll just buy something new.
Just tire you out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay, you yourself, we've referenced it a few times. You yourself was on the phone for almost 2 hours that one. And dude, you were a lawyer. Like, it's not like you don't know how to talk. It's not like you don't know how to get your way around.
I had 5 or 6 different people on the phone.
dude,
during that
they
time,
were pitching. They were trying to send us on vacations.
Yeah.
It was what do they call those things where you go and timeshare shit us? They were trying to get us to go look at swampland in Florida. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
A
called about a
free
broken
weekend.
washer, and all of a sudden we're in a
You could win a
sweepstakes.
contest.
I think at one point they told us if we paid $1 or $2, we could win a gift certificate for $100.
Yeah,
It's
we're
like
like, yes.
guaranteed.
Yeah, I'll take.
Let's
give
do
me
that
$100.
8 times. See what happens.
Pain in the
You know
ass.
what's not a scam, though, gentlemen? Zott, Ford, and Holly.
Oh, please
stop
read
and
thi-
ask yourself.
Read this while I.
Stop and ask yourself, what can you get for under $100 these days? Maybe a George Foreman grill, a Ginsu knife set, perhaps even Mike Lindell's My Pillow, or for an extremely limited time, a brand new Ford Fusion or Ford Escape at Zott, Ford, and Holly. Oh yeah, Merry Christmas to you, my friend, because right now Zott Ford is leasing new 17 Ford Fusions and Ford Escapes for as little as $95 a month for only 24 months. Surf their Holly Jolly deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com.
Still on the phone, so I figure I'll duck back in for a few minutes. Don't mind me, gentlemen. Get as much Jay time as we can get, because we love having Jay here, don't we, E?
Yes.
Yeah.
E, be honest.
No, I do, because then when you're
Sometimes.
here,
Usually you bitch
Yeah.
when he's not here.
yeah, I do. It's half and half.
Hey, did you see, speaking of Trump that E mentioned a minute ago, you see he finally got himself a new Secretary of State.
Yeah, well, he has a name at least, and we're hearing chirping, a lot of chirping from the Dems that it's going to be a tough confirmation hearing, right?
You think?
Yeah.
Rex Tillerson?
Yeah, they don't like the Russia tie.
Yeah.
That's the big line this last 10 days or so, right?
Yeah, he's a big executive, some billionaire probably executive from ExxonMobil and CEO. And so, yeah, Trump called him one of the truly great business leaders of the world. His lengthy corporate record, he's the one of the most accomplished business leaders and international deal makers in the world. He's the embodiment of the American dream. His tenacity, broad experience, and deep understanding of geopolitics makes him an excellent choice for Secretary of State. He'll provide regional stability and focus on core national security interests of the United States. He knows how to manage a global organization, successfully navigate the complex architecture of world affairs and diverse foreign leaders, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So it looks like Romney comes in second, huh?
Yeah. Romney actually had a statement, too. You know, what's he going to say? But he said something like, it was an honor to be considered for Secretary of State of our great country. My discussions with Trump have been both enjoyable and enlightening. I have very high hopes the new administration will lead the nation to great strength, prosperity, and peace. But like you said, apparently this guy in part of his dealings is like big deals, pipeline deals with
With Putin,
Russia
yeah.
and Putin. And so people are hearkening back to video of him like having wine with Putin and sitting, but that happens a lot. I would think when people make deals and they celebrate and
Well, it's just, it's funny politics. The big line the last couple of weeks has been Russia's influence over the election, right?
Right.
Russia fixed the election. They say generally, and it's
Right.
like, well, wait, okay, maybe they were behind WikiLeaks,
Yeah.
right? Is that the most probable? I think the CIA has said that's what it looks like, although
Yeah.
there's conflicting reports about that.
there are conflicting reports
Yeah.
today about that. But yeah, the Washington Post was spearheading they did some story about it, how they've nailed down and the CIA and the FBI and yeah.
But it goes to your point about the bullshit media and how they do these things. It's like if you just were sort of half listening, you'd be like, oh, Russia fixed our election somehow. Somehow they got behind the votes, right? And they
Right.
changed the votes somehow. That's kind of how
Totally.
they're just painting this.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the WikiLeaks thing in a lot of people's minds was a very serious, awful thing in many respects, and that you're taking private stuff and getting it out there. And
It was more confirmation, in my opinion, to what people already thought of Hillary Clinton in a lot of respects. They
Right.
didn't trust her, and that kind of proved that there was reason not to. But go ahead.
No, I totally lost my train of thought, but
Sorry.
No, yeah. So,
Yeah, sorry, dude.
You got it.
Cut you off there. I'm sorry. But yeah, so they were blaming, them saying that your point was the media takes it and runs with it, and if you're half listening to these things, it makes it sound like somehow Russia fixed the election here in this country.
Yeah, and so now the big narrative with this guy, as he becomes nominated for Secretary of State, is going to be, oh, well, he's buddy with this guy who just fixed our election. Is that the kind of relationship we want? And
Yeah.
it warrants looking into, I suppose, and that's why they have confirmation hearings. But
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like the idea of, a lot of people are like, oh, he's just putting more billionaires into the mix and blah, 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 blah. And Trump's whole point all along, whether you like it or not, whether it works or not is yet to be seen. But the point was, I'm going to put great people that are great business minds into some of these positions. His whole campaign point, or a huge part of it, was, look, we're getting fucked on deals. We end up owing $500 billion a year in trade deficit to China, and we're getting smoked by Mexico. And so I'm going to put really great, smart, instead of the swamp politician in office, I'm looking for great business minds, great deal makers to make better deals for this country going forward, whether it's trade deals, whatever. And so, I don't know, I understand that there's a whole half of the country that goes, this guy's insane, it's bullshit. I understand that. I understand that half the people hate him and this and that, but I look at it and I go, well, fuck, who knows? Why not? Why not put some guy that's used to making humongous deals, international deals with different countries, and see if you can't strike
Humgoras deals.
Humgoras deals.
Yeah, try something different, right?
Yeah, why not?
I think that's the whole thing behind the Trump presidency is people wanted something different, and I guess we're getting that.
Yeah.
With the cabinet as well. So
Yeah.
But successful people, smart, successful people, that probably translates to a lot of different areas. So it's not beyond the realm that a guy who could run a business that big and that complicated could switch gears and do the Secretary of State job,
Yeah.
even though it's a very, very different job.
I heard his quote today, and I'll paraphrase it horribly, but it was like, hey, I've made my life's work is making great deals for the company I work for, and that's all I want to do for this country. I want to make great deals going forward with the United States of America's best interests in mind. That's it. That's my goal. And so on that, if you take him at his word, and if you look at a stellar record, a Boy Scout record with Exxon, why not?
Yeah, and apparently he came very highly recommended by Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State, and Jim Baker of the Bush administration. So this wasn't just Trump, this is my buddy. It's the guy I golf with every Friday.
Yeah. Anyway, I think he was literally a Boy Scout too, or an Eagle Scout
Good
in
for
his
him.
early days. So, yeah. Hey, another death row inmate.
Yeah?
Yeah, this one.
Missouri? We got Texas, Missouri.
I thought
Illinois.
it was Ohio, but Ohio. The Supreme Court has rejected an appeal by this guy because he survived a botched execution in 2009. They tried to put this son of a bitch down in 2009, and they weren't able to do it. So he was fighting that it was unconstitutional, double jeopardy. The son of a bitch tried to get through a loophole like that.
Double jeopardy.
Yeah, cruel and unusual punishment. I guess they stuck him like 8 times trying to find a vein, and they've got pictures of him holding out his arms. He's got all these Band-Aids all over
Yeah.
where they stuck him with needles. Rommel Brown is his name. He'd argued double jeopardy, all that. But on Monday, the Supreme Court rejected his arguments 6-2. So it took him 2 hours trying to do that first
I
execution.
don't understand how that's double jeopardy. He's been sentenced to death. I mean,
Yeah.
just because it didn't work, something went awry when they tried it the first time.
Yeah,
I don't understand the
he's
double
desperate.
jeopardy.
It's a desperate move. His lawyers were throwing anything they could at the wall, but the prosecutors had argued that double jeopardy would not apply because lethal drugs never entered his veins since they weren't able to get the needle prick. Ohio Supreme Court Justice Judith Lanzinger sided with the state, saying the execution never began because they were never administered. Because his life was never at risk, with the drugs not being introduced, we don't believe it would shock the public's conscience to allow the state to carry out his execution. Despite a ruling, a second execution, they say, is years away. So this guy's he's already gotten 7 free years.
Why is it years away?
I don't know.
The Supreme Court just spoke on this. Take him down the hall and kill him now.
Yeah, I agree. And I was reading about other ones like they were trying to pull back the cases. And a case in 1840 where a guy, and it's like, dude, within weeks they're putting these sons of bitches down. And this now could be years for him. I'm inclined not even to give him another last meal. I feel like he's already gotten the last meal, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure he had milkshakes and burgers
Probably.
and all these fabulous things, right?
And if you before you go like, hey, feeling sorry for him, I'll remind people this was back in September of 1984.
Yeah, let's hear what he did. And this is the guy who's arguing cruel and an unusual punishment because he got
Yes.
stuck 8 times by a needle.
Yes.
Let's hear what he did.
Well, there was a young African-American girl, Trina Middleton. She and 2 little friends were at a high school football game. She was 14 years old in the 9th grade. After the football game, the 3 girls start walking home. They notice a car they thought looked suspicious. The car passes them and then turns around with its lights off and stops in front of them. The driver gets out of the car and goes walking past them, and then circles back and comes up behind them and tries to attack them. And he pulls out a knife, and he's trying to grab all 3 of the girls. And 2,
Oh, my God.
yeah, 2 of them get away, and he's like, "Come here, bitch!" He actually yelled, "Come here, bitch!" at her as he grabbed her. He gets Trina in his car and
Trina?
takes Tryna Middleton. Trina, Trina?
I'm guessing Trina.
Trina. Okay, fine, Trina. So he gets Trina in the car. Anyway, the girls ran to a nearby house where the homeowners let them in, and they called their moms and they called the police. Approximately 2 hours later, Trina's body was found in a parking lot. She had been stabbed 7 times in the chest and abdomen, and there was sperm in her rectum and vagine.
Okay.
So he fucked her ass, fucked her vagine, and stabbed her 7 times to death. 5 of the stabbings perforated her heart, causing almost instantaneous death. Her friends were shown photos, and so anyway, they couldn't pinpoint the guy at first, but there was someone got a license plate, and they start putting this stuff together, and the car comes back to this Rommel Brown's father, and so they go there. Rommel is there. The car is still warm. He admits he was out in the car, and there were a couple other instances in that, like in the weeks surrounding that date, where almost very similar attacks happened on young girls that got away, and those girls were able to ID him, and then the other girls that were involved in this one were able to ID him. They sent DNA out on this guy probably from the sperm cells in the rectum and the vagine, and they were able to say that it was a match for him, like the blood type. They said it was the chances of it not being him were like 1 in 2.3 million. So it was possible there were like 8 potential other matches in the United States.
Yeah, but he happened to live within a block of this, so
Right. And
what
so
to conclude?
Yeah, what to conclude. So I suppose you could go, hey man, there's a possibility. I mean,
Yeah.
didn't they say there were less people on the planet
Yeah.
than the chances that OJ didn't kill the waiter and his wife?
Right, and the jury had this DNA during their deliberations, correct? This was at the trial?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they decided he was guilty,
Right.
so...
And so, yeah, but just to give you a backstory on my man there, if you're feeling sorry for him.
Eight needle pricks, huh?
18.
Oh, 18.
18.
God.
I know. 8 I could get behind, but 18 is tough. Yeah, poor guy. Anyway, speaking of murders, you see Western Michigan, the basketball
Yeah,
player?
I saw this chick.
Dude, yeah.
Does this guy look like a chick or what?
Totally does. What is going on there? Prosecutors have charged a kid from Western Michigan, Jovier Kennedy. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce his name. With murder and armed robbery. They accused him of gunning down a fellow student during a robbery of a cell phone and money.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, he was arraigned in the
Just a
shooting.
petty criminal? Like, dude, you're playing for a
D1 college. Come on, man.
team.
Like, if you're a D1 athlete, the opportunity is going to be there in life for you. Like, you can't see any further down the road than the stealing of a cell phone.
Armed robbery? Look at that chick.
Yeah, does look like a chick, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, he was arraigned in the shooting of 19-year-old Jacob Jones at an off-campus Kalamazoo apartment on Thursday. He doesn't have an attorney at this point, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, his uncle is saying, "Oh, we're all devastated. We don't believe this. It's not the kid I know." And the basketball team is making the usual remarks as well. But terribly sad story, no doubt about it. And then in other Detroit news, did you see this chick dragged off a plane at Metro?
I've not. I've heard about this. I
Man.
desperately want to see the video.
E, do you have the video of this? Is it the 2-minute long video? You can go ahead
no.
like 58 seconds because they're back there a ways
People
with
just
her.
filming down the aisle here.
So this was, yeah, exactly. People are filming down the aisle, and it's in portrait. I apologize in advance for that, but it would be hard to turn the camera, I suppose, if you're sitting in a seat in an airplane seat, turning around to film it. So anyway, she was dragged off the plane. It was a flight from Detroit to San Diego, so you can see why she'd want to get on that plane. And I don't blame her for that.
Right.
Why don't you guys watch this video, and then I'll give you the details. I heard the
Okay.
washing machine guy knocking at the door.
All right. Let her go, E. All right, we got a cop dragging a body through the aisle. We got audio here? No audio? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Did you see that belly, E? Oh, she's just gone limp.
Wow.
And the guy's got her by the wrists, and he's pulling her down the aisle, and her shirt is coming up over her gut.
Oh my
Come
god.
on, lady. You're an adult woman. What?
What did he say happened here?
I don't know. She snuck on the plane, he said?
Oh yeah, she rushed. She bum rushed security? Is that what happened, dude?
This adult woman is being dragged down the aisle of a plane. She's acting like she's just dead weight.
Dead weight, totally. Yeah, apparently, she got through security and just bum rushed. You know the ticket agent when you get there and everybody's waiting to board?
Yeah.
Apparently she just shot past that and sat in a seat.
That'll work, yeah. No problem.
It might have worked 50 years ago.
Yeah. Look at that.
Look at this
gawk.
load.
This guy's like taking a deep breath.
He has applause. Poor guy. Like a
dragging
piece of shit.
Hey, how about the cop in the back? Give it a push or something.
Yeah, kick a leg or something. Dude, I don't know about you, Jay, but I think you made the comment like a week ago. Like if I never end up on a YouTube video or a
Yeah.
World Star, like that's your goal.
That ought to be your goal in life. Like never end up in some publicly taken YouTube video.
Like-
'Cause that means you're acting the fool, Mike.
Even if it's not your fault. Even if you just get some guy that's being a dick and you see people filming, I would immediately be like,
Shut it down.
fucking dude.
Whatever you need, you got it.
Whatever. I know you just slammed into my car. Here's $100.
Yeah.
Go away and take all these turds with you. I do not want to be on any. I don't want to be in the background of one of those videos. That's just my thought. And like, I'm trying to picture myself like laying on a plane with my arms head and cops dragging me literally by, because all you'd see is cameras facing you.
What has happened in your life? Like, how do you get there where you're being dragged down the center aisle of a plane
And your fat gut is hanging out
and you
you're-
don't care? You're just
give a
laying
shit.
there. How
Whatever.
do you get there, man?
Don't be jealous. You just kind of don't be jealous. You're just being dragged down the aisle.
What kind of shit has happened in your life in the days leading up to this?
Yeah, it's just
You've bum rushed a counter,
yeah.
ran right past, no boarding pass. You'll get away with that. Just go pick a seat, whichever one you like.
Like I said, I don't blame her because I would love to hop a flight to San Diego right now. I got to be honest with you. I really would.
So did she not? Because there's TSA, obviously. How did she?
Yeah, how did she get through that?
She had a ticket somewhere, right?
Right.
Like, you're right. This isn't back in the day when you could just walk up to the gate. So that's weird.
Yeah,
Maybe she booked by TSA. She doesn't look like the type who could have booked by TSA.
I don't know. I don't know how you would get there. Yeah, that's a good question, but she did, and it happened right here in our backyard. You got to get out of here, don't you, Jay? All right, E, why don't we take a break? Because I got news, Jay. They're cutting me the voucher.
Well, it only took a couple hours.
Yeah. So he's like, well, do you want the voucher? Or
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
You, or my option was, and I don't know which option I should have taken. I could pay another $95, and they would order another part.
Ooh, let me think about this.
And then when it got here in a
Keep
week
the
or
old
so,
washer and then have them install that.
Install that.
Yeah. Oh, this is boy. Let's take a break and talk about this.
Yeah. So
Not sure what to do.
I should have met behind closed doors with my attorney. I acted without counsel, and I decided to take the voucher. So
Yeah. Do we decline the penalty or accept it?
Yeah.
That's the question.
anyway, all right, Jay. I know you've been here since 10 o'clock this morning, and I know you got to get out of here. So, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and take over from there.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey there. Hey, it's Steve Gabarra, the general manager at Zott Ford and Holly. We're much closer than you think, and we specialize in getting folks out of their lease up to 12 months early. It doesn't matter what brand or how many miles you have on it. The team at Zott Ford will assist in terminating your current lease with no penalties and hook you up with a sweet new Ford. So dump your overpriced, over-mileage lease and let your friends at Zott Ford make your wildest dreams come true. Check out our astonishing deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast with Mike and E. We had to lose Jay, unfortunately. We didn't kick him out. He had to, at least I didn't. E, you didn't kick him out, did you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. He kind of had to.
He had an
suggesting
attitude?
that maybe he had to get going.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not saying I didn't say, hey, maybe
You
it's
grab
gonna be
him by
my
the
time.
scruff of the neck?
Well, I'm just maybe this is my time to shine. Hey, Jay, if you gotta
Hell
go,
yeah.
I was just if you gotta go. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad. That's what I was saying. I was more like I'm not gonna be upset if I have to take
Yeah.
the reins.
I hope people understand, and I'm sure they
Yeah.
do. It's a three-man team, and there's a lot more that goes into this thing than, a lot more that should go into this thing than just the show. And so we end up being here for much longer than the brief hour and a half, 2 hours you hear us each day. And so E is over here, at like 9 o'clock in the morning. Jay shortly thereafter, and then I had the hiccup with the washing machine, so we weren't able to go.
Yeah, it was a little different. If it weren't
kind
for
of
a
fucked
washing
us up.
machine, but
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned on the air, but I did get the $500 voucher out of the guys.
yeah.
Apparently, they're going to call me in 2 days, whatever that means. So.
Right. You're waiting for that call between 9 and 10 or 9 and
If
whatever.
I don't answer it on the first ring, I
Yeah,
forfeit my my voucher.
They give you one ring. They have it set up. So it's
One
just
ring, you better be looking and answer it, sir. Otherwise, you forfeit your voucher. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, when we would normally start the show at 11 or
ish.
a little after, or a little before, whatever, we weren't able to start it until after 3:30. And Jay was like, "Guys, I gotta leave by 4."
Right.
Which would normally be fine. You start a show at noon, or 11. It's easy to do that. So, from time to time, we're going to run into these things, but whatever. Anyway. We should,
Luckily, you have a professional such as myself
yeah,
to sit
and
in.
go. What did you bring to the table, E?
Let me look at my phone.
Look at your notes. I think I made an Instagram earlier.
I was going to
It's pretty
say,
cool.
yeah, I took a...
You think of something for us to discuss, E, because I got nothing. I got nothing going on, so...
I can, you know what? No. I was going to start going down a rabbit hole of YouTube stuff, and I will not do that. Forget it.
I was going to say this segment is brought to you by Mayer and
that
Company
what you were gonna
accountants. Yeah, I was because Kyle has got his big thing is when you guys have absolutely dick to say or do.
Yeah.
Especially if Jay leaves early. Make sure you get one of my reads in there so people associate me with the retardedness of the show. And so I was like, okay, that seems like an odd request, Kyle, but sure, I'll give it a shot. And wouldn't you know it?
Right.
Like right now is one of those times. So for Kyle Mayer, I figured we'll do that. If you dread doing your personal or business taxes as much as you dread
worst.
that upcoming prostate exam, sometimes they do a 3-finger prostate exam, right? How old are you now? 38?
32.
So you're still in the 2-finger prostate exams. Wait, 35 is coming, sir. That's when they do the 3 fingers. And then at 40, 4 fingers. So you're not going to like it. Sorry. But they need to get up there and make sure everything's cool. So.
I think I have to look into this. I think I recently saw that they are maybe starting to come up with ways they can do those without invasiveness.
Yeah, with the tongue instead of the finger.
No. No, not
They do it with the panus instead of 4 fingers. It's
Sure,
weird.
that's-
I know it's you could probably get into a trial though. It's early stages.
do not mean a tongue or a panus. They're just gonna bend me over. This is actually better than it used to be.
Dr. Nick does it. You've heard of Dr. Nick.
Yeah.
Dr. Nick does that. And if you want to get into that, we could probably make some calls and make that a reality. But anyways, if you dread doing something like that, like your taxes, let Kyle Mayer handle it all for you. Kyle's a pro who you can trust. Don't waste your time trying to figure out all those damn forms, numbers, deductions. Oh, how do you do that
Gross.
for a living? Fuck. God damn. Leave it all to Kyle. Call him today at 248-521-0016. Tell him the Detroit Cast sent you and receive 10% off your tax prep bill,
Well,
which is awesome because his tax prep bill is hardly anything. The most things I heard besides how awesome Kyle was, oh my God, this was so cheap. I can't believe it.
right.
So,
I can't wait to go back to them. There's only 2 people that have ever done my taxes in my life. My dad and now Kyle Mayer.
who do you like better?
Kyle Mayer.
don't have to explain your life's choices to
Yeah, I don't-
Kyle, where
I
your
don't-
dad might question you.
I don't have to. Yeah, exactly. I don't have to. My dad looking at my W-2s.
Yeah.
I think probably there was times when the realization of how little money was on these W-2s,
Yeah.
and Kyle
That-
doesn't care.
Especially as you get closer to write-offs, like you can go in with a straight face to Kyle and explain why you're writing off,
Right.
your meals for a trip to San Francisco to go to a male jack-off club.
Exactly.
Whereas to your dad, that's a tougher sell.
Exactly.
Can
Yeah, I don't want to
understand
have
that,
some
so-
of those conversations with my dad.
Hell
You're right.
no. Hell no. Anyway, on to other stories in the news. There was one from a couple days ago, and I thought of you because I look at that old bird in this picture, and I immediately think of
How do we
Nana.
know if that's a man or a woman?
You don't. There's no flower. There's no ribbon, pink or blue.
Let me look at this. I know, unfortunately, I'm sitting over here now, so I'm not sharing this photo. But for real,
Yeah.
I guess she kind of looks like a woman.
Yeah, it is in fact a woman.
God, getting whatever.
Dude, it sucks. I'm
we
so
can't talk
glad.
about it enough. We can't.
And I'm so lucky I'll never have to get old.
Yeah.
Just the way I live my life, the way I am.
Of course.
The odds of me making it past 50 are so slim.
I'm shooting for 60.
You are?
Yeah.
Nah, you'll probably live and annoy people for many, many years. Jay, of course, will live to be 147.
Well, I've said, it will all revolve around. I think a lot of this is genes. It will all revolve around how well my liver and/or kidneys hold up.
I don't
honestly,
think you've done as much damage as
As I
you
think I have?
Yeah, there are people that have done supreme
Okay.
damage to
Well,
those things.
Let's fingers crossed.
Yeah,
But I
look
think
at
that's.
it-
I think
I
that's
look at it like okay. On one hand, living to be 140 sounds wow, that's great. Wow,
Right.
I got a long time to go. To me, I think about wow, that means I got to work and like earn enough
to do that.
to be able to sustain myself. Otherwise, I'm going to end up in a gutter somewhere. And I don't have that much anyway. So
No,
so
you're
like,
right.
dude, I'm better off expiring sooner than later. Then I don't have to deal with like an old folks home and some piece of shit orderly who doesn't give a shit about me and he's mean to me
Right.
and he's rude and I don't have any family and I don't
your
have Jay there to
fingers
get my
hurt?
back. Oh, your bones hurt, do they, sir? And it's like I don't need this hassle. I don't need this.
No, and you know what's funny? There's a weird thing too. The idea of the longer you live. The longer you live, the less people there are that care about you. Like you outlive everybody eventually.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where, then you literally don't have friends.
Yeah.
You're just living.
Well, I've already hit the age, E. Now in my 40s, I've hit the age where it's not that tragic if I die, and it's not that unexpected.
Right.
Like if you die in your teens or your 20s, even like you right now, like there's people that could still point to you right now and go, "Oh,
Young
wow,
man.
he had so much life ahead of him."
Right.
Like when you get into your 40s, it's like, yeah, you got the short end of the stick, but I mean, really,
Yeah.
it was all downhill from there anyways. So whatever.
I used to say, this is back when I was way younger, but back when around the 2000 times, because it was, I always remember very obvious that I would turn 16 in the year 2000 so I could drive a car, yada.
Sure.
And I used to think that I wanted to live to 116. That was what I said when I was a young, stupid kid. Naive, dude. Not
Yeah.
jaded yet. Not fucking just,
Hating life
hating
yet.
myself and life yet. Because my thought was like, oh my God, it'd be cool to say I lived in the 1990s, 2000s, and then see 2100. And now I'm just like, no way, dude.
What would be your goal death age?
Now?
Yeah.
It all depends on all depends on standard of
Quality
life, dude.
of life,
Quality
yeah.
of life. The minute
Okay, let's say you're pissing your pants uncontrollably, but you're still keeping your butthole in check and you're not shitting yourself. Can you deal with that?
No, I only want to go. I only want to go
You're
until
still
I can
mobile.
walk. And
You're-
what are we?
you're
This is
still
like Kramer.
walking.
You remember that episode with Kramer, Seinfeld?
No, I wasn't thinking of that, but thank you.
There was an episode.
Yeah,
where
I know
yeah,
the
okay,
episode.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. You're making it sound like I stole a Seinfeld bit. It was the furthest thing from my mind,
I don't know,
asshole.
maybe you did though.
No, I didn't. But yeah, okay, you're walking with a cane. Is that
That's
like,
okay. I think as long as I can essentially do things on my own, I'm okay with it. Even if I'm in a wheelchair, but I can get out of the wheelchair into my bed or something. But the minute I'm in a home, the minute I have to be in a home, the minute I can't take care of myself, I
Yeah.
want to be done.
See, I feel like it's a downhill slope because I remember being younger and hating that fucking guy who like on the corner there was the doctor who ended up getting lawn jobs and shit from Troy and seeing that guy, and it was like, you know, my brother and I would be throwing the football every fucking day. Derek would come over, Jay would come over. We'd be throwing the football, playing football, and if you even like, you got your toes inbounds on the curb, but then
Yeah.
you stepped on his lawn, he'd be out there, goddamn kids, get off my lawn.
Of course.
And you hated that guy, and now I find myself like sort of siding with those guys.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. I see, you know, people walking there, yep, Georgie Porgy pudding pie out for the stroll.
Right.
And I don't care if Georgie whizzes on my lawn or shits on the lawn and they're walking on it, whatever. But I do find myself in these stories where I'm feeling bad now for the old man that I never felt bad for, and it's like, oh man, I see it turning. I'm turning into one of
course.
those guys where, you know, back when I was young, I didn't care. It was like, yeah, get over it, old man. It's just a couple footprints on the lawn, whatever.
Of course. I mean, that's just the nature of living, Mike. But I'm just saying, I don't want to. As long as I can be mobile, but the minute, I don't know. But then you say that, dude, and then you talk to old people, and then when they get in the old folks' home, some of them find a lot of joy in it. You know, they have the community. Again, when you're at a point where
Very
you can,
few. I worked in one of them, and very few of them were digging life. I got to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the age is, dude.
I wish I could move into one of those now, though.
Well,
like
yeah.
I love the idea of like
just someone making you
I'm
meals.
in my room,
Everyone's
and then
just happy that you're whatever.
it's like
and
I just know that at noon they're gonna serve me pudding and a sandwich and some soup.
Wednesday afternoons there'll be bingo.
Bingo,
Thursday
hell yes.
there'll be
Some entertainment. Some guy's gonna come in and play the piano. And
do juggling.
hell yeah, and it's very low key. They don't want to offend anyone.
They just wheel you in. You'd be excited that they just wheel you in. Some
Hell
guy
yeah.
juggling. And they're like,
Dude, I'd be the king of that place. I'd have no responsibility. I'd just hang out in my room, flirt with the old chicks. I'd be the life of the party. I could see moving in there now, but when you're decrepit and old as shit and you can't
no
get it going,
desire to do what you just described, but
what? Go there and play bingo
like
and be
right
the life
now,
of the party?
No.
Yeah,
I know,
I could
but-
do that, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I'd
believe
still
that you
do
could.
this.
I believe that you could.
Like if I could come do this, like hang out with you guys for a couple hours and then go back to the old folks' home and move into my room. Dude, just for the meals alone. Oh, it'd be
How that would
awesome.
work.
Be awesome. Anyways, well, the
Oh,
back to the
sorry.
story.
We were talking about some old lady.
Yeah, she's no longer with us, so don't worry. I mean, it's not like she was waiting on us to do the story. But a mother and a daughter have been accused of using the credit card and debit cards of this 77-year-old woman who was found buried in their backyard. That's just
If you're asking, would I do this? Is that where this is going? Or
is Nana has checks rolling in, right? She's still collecting something.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think it's her Social Security or
Sure.
something.
So the argument, the question is, if you don't have shit, like your mom and dad are gone, they've kind of left you with Nana, and
It's not okay. Fine.
and she dies, and your options are, I can call this in like a responsible grandson, or just for argument's sake, and I know Nana would want me to be happy, I could keep just collecting her checks and see how this goes.
I think the problem is you've asked me this. This is not the first time you've asked me this.
Probably not.
And I think it usually always comes back to we've done enough stories doing this show. Maybe if I had never done anything like this, if I'd never been on
And
a
realize
show,
people got busted.
yeah, maybe you can sit there and I think we've just done too many stories, and I do have an absolute fear of prison, and
Yeah.
I just. No, I honestly, I know you're. I don't know if you're what you're wanting me to say. Oh, nope, I would take.
No, I
Nana's
don't. I don't
checks."
think you would. I'm just posing it for other people listening.
The problem is, and this is where Jay would have an issue with this. I don't know that I wouldn't do it, but I don't know if it really would be out of any moral ethics or I just don't want to shortchange the government. Like,
So it
it'd
wouldn't be
more-
like, oh my God, she needs a proper burial. Like you wouldn't be worried about that shit. You're just more worried about like, I don't want to get busted.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be more just not realizing that. I think I'm definitely a retard, and have my shortcomings. But I think I'm just as you've
Or long comings. But yeah.
Well, as you guys have stated almost before, that like I'm like a few away from being in that room, the king of the idiots, I guess.
Yeah.
So my point is, I think I'm just smart enough to realize that I know I would not get away with it, and maybe if she died like third week of the month, I could reason getting one more paycheck out of it. But I would just know that the story
That's
would
fair,
be-
and I don't know that there's anything wrong with that.
Is there a moment
Yeah,
where you
I
can,
think you could- if you
lift the
milked-
month ends up halfway?
If you milked 2 extra checks out of it, I think people would go, shame on you, E, but get out of here. But I don't think they'd throw you in jail for that.
No, but I don't even think I could even do 2. I could do 1 if depending on where her death ended in the month and when that check came.
It was on the first half of the month, but close. It was like 12 days into the month.
No, you'd have to call it in then because again, the report's going to come in.
Couldn't you
They're
just
gonna,
stick her in the shed or something? Let her start stinking. You go, oh my God, she went out to the shed a couple weeks ago. I had no idea. I
Everyone
thought it was
would
weird.
know that she
thought it
was
was weird I didn't see her.
No, you know
All
what?
right,
No,
I'm just asking.
No, I couldn't. And again, though, I'll be honest. It's not out of any moral obligation. It's not out of any thinking like I'd be cheating the government out of money. I don't give a shit about that. It's just out of a selfishness of knowing I would probably get caught.
Well,
and it
the
wouldn't
old
work out
the
for
old
me.
bird that died 5 years ago. Her name was Connie.
5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she just missed out hearing this story, huh?
Yeah, Connie Hodgson was her name, and these two pieces
Dude, think
of
about that.
shit
5
mother
years
and daughter
ago, it's been
team.
going on.
Yeah,
Think about that, dude. I have only
were arrested on
I think I've
Saturday.
only known you for just hitting like 6 months in February
wait, 6 months.
or 6 years.
Yeah.
I think.
So if I'd murdered,
Like,
if I-
but I'm just saying, like, but no, in my mind,
yeah,
it's
like
just kind
that
of funny.
whole time we've known each other.
Almost like 90% of the time we've known each other. This lady's been dead.
Yeah.
Like I was an intern, then this lady died or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like I would, and the whole internship went up to Holland. The whole thing happened, and this lady's been dead, and they've been taking money. It's just funny to me to think about it in that term.
Well, the two that are accused of stealing her checks, they're not thinking that they murdered this woman,
Right.
Which is good. They might have just buried her in the backyard. Their names were Teresa Frawley and Teresa's daughter Brandy, and
Brandy.
and so anyway, the mother and daughter were still using her credit and debit cards.
What are you thinking? I mean,
5 years after she was last seen alive.
You know, I guess I could get it once they get into like a year. But that first, I'm not kidding. That first time you do it, don't you start to think? And they have to make payments on this. So what are
that's
they
what I
doing?
was gonna say.
A
Like,
credit
how do
card,
you-
You're making payments still. So what are you? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are they
Unless
just,
there
are they
was
just
a,
making the minimum? Are they really just like? Are they
Making the
opening
minimum
credit cards
payment?
in her name? You know,
it just said they were using the woman's credit cards and debit cards 5 years after she was last seen.
So I wonder-
maybe she had great credit and had a $50,000 limit
Yeah,
on it.
and they're just
maybe you're right,
casual
making the
transactions.
minimum payments and
yeah,
still.
like jacking it up, but just doing as little as they can.
Yeah.
realizing that it's not hurting their credit in any capacity,
This
or
woman's
thinking it isn't.
this woman's bones were discovered buried in her backyard
God, life sucks.
by the home's new owner, who discovered a skull in his backyard when he was having landscaping done.
Oh my God.
This is
So you know what, Dan? You can't sell the house,
dude.
If you bury your if you're gonna bury your nan in the backyard and keep using her credit cards, you cannot leave that
No,
spot.
you die in that house. Period. You cannot sell the house. That was going to be my
What are you
point too. E. No,
thinking?
you can't move. If you decide if
it sounds
that's
like they would have got away with it.
like if this is the road you've chosen, that you know what, fuck Nana, we're burying her in the backyard, and you just kind of dig a shallow grave. You cannot let the new Johnson family move in and do some mild landscaping.
Where did they
and
move?
find her head?
Where did they move? Does it say anything? Just new owner?
I don't know.
What are they
I guess
thinking?
these two skanks were Hodgson's caretaker and had lived with her for about 9 years. The older woman had no family, and the pair were her closest friends.
It's a prime target.
They're now looking into whether they were cashing the woman's Social Security checks, which were still going out. I can promise you they were cashing her Social Security
Well,
checks.
here's what they were doing, dude. I mean, I don't know, but like we described, here's what they were doing is charging up that card. And just, I don't know how much your checks would be, but it'd be enough probably to cover minimum payments a month or something. You know what I mean? Like, because clearly they're not looking out for, like, their own personal credit history. It's not in their name.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just
Well, they must have been making some payments because after 5 years,
what's what I'm saying. I
you
think
would
they'd be
cut
using the
off.
credit card, cashing those Social Security checks, and just rolling that Social Security
Yeah.
into the payment, I guess. Or,
Yeah.
God.
Anyway.
Dude, you know what's funny? We do so many stories of those that you think about it. Like, I wonder really how often it really is happening. Because
I think it's happened a ton.
Right.
Although there's probably other games that we're not aware of that they're doing, because I don't think many people are burying someone in their backyard necessarily.
No, but leaving them in a
this is a
basement, leaving them
special
in a-
this is a special situation. If you've just got someone who's collecting shit but doesn't have any family friends. This woman, they say, didn't have any kids, didn't have any, obviously her parents are long dead, no brothers or sisters. So there's nobody that's going to come around at the holidays and go, well, where's Nana? I haven't heard from her. No one's expecting to hear from her. So when she goes missing for 5 years, no one's calling about her. No one's making someone do a one of those checks, home checks on someone. So that's how that's able to work out. But, I'm with you, E. If you bury someone in the backyard, that's your new house forever. You have to keep that house forever or take the body with you.
Could you imagine knowing you buried someone? You want to talk about like the telltale heart, or to bring out an Edgar Allan Poe.
There you go,
Look
buried
at
under
that.
the floorboards. I like that,
the
E.
beating heart. Like, you
Yeah.
want to talk about, like, think about when you're
Like
having
terrorizing you, yeah.
people running through that house, like looking at the house, you're selling it. You know you have a dead Nana buried in a backyard, and you've been, not just that you did it and maybe just demanded it off the grid, you've been using, you're doing something majorly illegal.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
Yeah, that's tough.
having people look at that house and just not being able to be dude, honest to God, I know whatever we think, like, if you told me to go up to the Meijer right now and, hey, E, let's jokingly see if you could steal a fucking, it's not maybe a candy bar, let's say a little more than a candy bar, but like less than, like a shirt, and you just said, let's see, E, if you could do it.
Let's do that.
I would be so fucking nervous.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, dude,
It'd
like,
be written all over your face.
yeah,
That guy's stealing a shirt.
just the cheapest one they have, a blank Hanes, like, tanky,
Doesn't
wife
matter
beat,
what
whatever.
shirt.
Yeah.
It's cashmere. Who cares? You're stealing it.
No, but I'm talking about like I'm trying to make a point that like it's something that it's such a small price that it would not be that big. That's I guess I'm whatever.
Yeah.
But you're right, dude. It'd be all over my face, dude.
Yeah.
And you're sitting you imagine you're sitting there like you got people doing an open house and they're looking at the thing like, oh, what we got back here in the yard, knowing there's a fucking body back there.
Yeah, I think if I was gonna do this, if I'd buried you in my backyard or Nana or something in my backyard, I think at a minimum, if I felt like, dude, it's time, I gotta move, I think I would at least try to talk to the homeowners, like, what are you guys thinking about this backyard? Like, see what they're planning. If they're like, I love it the way it is, I'd be like, all right, sell to them. But if they were like, I don't know, thinking about putting a pool in, like, it would, like, I don't know, I'm not crazy about that landscaping over there. I might do some work over there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, what are your plans for back here?
Oh yeah, and then I would
Digging up
gauge.
this pool. You're right. I'm thinking about digging up this pool and like making
Fuck. That's right where she's buried. Shit.
I'm thinking about you know what? I've decided not to sell.
Yeah, turns out I'm going to stick around a little longer until you find someone who's lazy that's like, it looks good enough to me, man. I'm going to do absolutely nothing in that bag. Are you kidding me?
I'm
I
gonna
love
sit
it.
in the front and then in the wood room and watch TV and then
I
go.
probably won't even stroll back there.
I hate backyards.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Not a fan of backyards at all.
Hate
you,
nature.
sir. I don't care that you came in with an offer shittier than everybody else's. You're my buyer. Anyway, Zott Ford has completed its giant renovations and now need to expand their outstanding team. Our friends at Zott Ford are looking for qualified candidates for sales and service. If you want to sell cars in a brand new showroom full of new furniture featuring lovely new bathrooms, or if you're a heavy or light duty repair tech that wants to work in a new shiny clean facility with bright LED lights, new state-of-the-art hoists and tools, go to ZottFord.com. Click on the Join Our Team tab. It's an amazing place to work. And of course, if they hired Big E, they'll likely hire you too.
Probably true.
Who couldn't use a job at the holidays? You know what I mean, E?
Everybody out buying your useless family members gifts just so
Yeah.
they buy you one equally useless.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I just always think it's funny the exchanging. Even with me and my sister sometimes, like it's like, why don't we just break it even? Like I'll give you a gift that's $50 worth, and then you'll give me a gift that's $50 worth. But
Yeah.
I guess you're supposed to find something that they
I know,
that they
it's-
like, and it shows that you care. And
I used to be good at shopping for Christmas gifts. Now, without any money, I just feel like an asshole.
It is harder
and
without
it's like
money.
I just don't want to play this game anymore. Don't get me anything, but don't expect me to get you anything. 'Cause
Right.
I can't.
oh,
I
speaking
can't.
of my sister, should we talk to my sister?
Yeah,
I'm
pop her on the phone.
She would hate that, dude.
I know she would. That's why it's worth doing it. Ask her how mongoloid Aaron Rodgers.
Dude,
is
I hope
doing.
the one time I'm talking about buying her a Christmas present because I already know what I got her, so I don't. No,
Yeah.
Luckily, she doesn't listen.
No, I'm right there with you. E. I wish the whole Christmas gift thing could go away because I just don't. I don't know. It's so much harder to do when you don't have expendable money. When you don't
Right,
have when you
that's the
don't have
thing.
more money to do what I know, and I know it's not about the money and the thought. Yeah, that's easy to say when you have money, but
Right, of course.
believe me, as someone who used to be able to do stuff for Christmas versus someone who can't, I'm tired of Christmas now. I want Christmas to go away. It's more of a shame than anything else. Like, yeah.
Well, hence my thought of buying gifts that benefit them and benefit me. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess. One guy who's not going to be around for Christmas, unfortunately, is that gentleman there. Looks like who's the guy that does all those?
are you talking about the diabetes?
Yeah, diabetes guy. Kind of looks like the
Diabetes?
diabetes guy.
God, what is his name?
Yeah, whatever.
Got a nice Kitterman there.
Yeah, he does have a nice. He had a nice kid.
Well, good.
He's no
Yeah,
longer
yeah,
with us.
right,
see.
of course.
And this is one of those I'm on the fence with. I feel like when I read this story, there's something missing in it. That I'm not getting the complete story here. And I'll tell you what happened to my man. He was an unarmed grandfather.
Wilford Brimley?
Wilford Brimley. Thank you, E. Do you have diabetes? He was in the this grandpapa here was in the early stages of dementia, and he was shot dead by the police while he walked around the block near his home.
Yeah, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
He was an unarmed grandfather.
Yep.
And he's got early stage dementia,
Okay.
and he was shot by the police walking around his yard
Uh-oh.
or walking around the block.
And he's a Caucasian.
He is a white man.
So that's at least that's okay.
Francisco Cerna, he was 73 years old. He was hit 9 times by police.
Oh shit.
That's more than Walter Scott took.
Yeah.
9 times to take Cerna down.
Wow.
Yeah, by police in Bakersfield, California. They were answering a call about a man with a gun, but no weapon was recovered. He stood in his neighbor's driveway at about 12:30 in the morning, so a little before 1 a.m. And when he was gunned down, his family said he took late night walks to tire himself out.
No.
So, yeah, I go out every night and just take a stroll around the block. I tucker myself out, and then I go to bed.
Right.
When police just rolled up and apparently murdered him in cold blood. Police had arrived, and when a witness was like, "That's the guy," and they pointed to Cerna.
Wait, a witness?
Yeah, witness, probably the one who called and said, "This guy's got a gun."
Okay.
So the witness is like, "Yeah, that's him there," and the cop was like, "All right," and pulled his gun.
boom.
If you read the story, it says police arrived, and when a witness pointed to Cerna, an officer fired several rounds and killed him.
What?
It's like, that's why it leads me to believe that maybe there's more to this story.
Yeah. I hope there is.
No gun was turned up in a search of the scene, his house, or his car. His son said his father had worked at a cotton gin in Central Valley and retired about 12 years ago. He had 5
They still
kids.
have cotton gins?
Yeah.
Well, I guess they do. They still make cotton.
Cerna had 5 children and lived with his wife and one of his daughters. My dad didn't own a gun. He was 73-year-old retired grandpa, just living life, his son said. He should have been surrounded by family in old age, not surrounded by bullets. The son said his father had been suffering from delusions and other early signs of dementia. This is where I think the
boy.
story is trickling out a little bit. It's like, okay, well, the cops don't know that. And what does that mean he was suffering signs of dementia? Like, I'd want to
Right.
know that part of the story because I find it incredibly hard to believe. I'm not saying it's impossible, E. I find it incredibly hard to believe that police would roll up on a scene and someone would go, "That's the guy," and the guy would pull his gun and just put 9 holes in him. I find that almost impossible to believe. So anyway, he'd been suffering from delusions and other signs of dementia since last year, but it's appeared to be getting worse in the past month. Police had visited the
You know what? You
the
can't
house
be
twice
letting him go on
before.
these walks, then, dude. I mean, who is he's so bad that he's at this point. But
Yeah.
you're just, I mean,
I don't know. I feel the same way. Like, dude, if they're a harm to themselves. You know, you see it all the time where someone wanders out of a old folks home or before when they should be in an old folks home and they wander out of their house and they get lost somewhere and it's like, dude, what are you doing? Letting grandpa have access to go strolling around town.
it's even one thing to me if in a sad situation where if they suggested like, oh, you know, usually we have people watching him. It just was a crazy, unfortunate accident. But if they say he is used to going on his nightly walks, I'm sorry, dude. If you're at the point where you're starting to have delusions or whatever he was describing there, you can't be allowing them to do that.
So you guys wouldn't let Nana just stroll herself out the front door?
No. Are you kidding me?
So anyway, apparently police had visited the house twice because not because he was beating on his wife or something or anything like that, but he kept setting off his medical alarm necklace, and so they would respond, and then it was like, oh, sorry about that. I guess I bumped my button. So that's the 2 times he would call out. But the son says, my dad was not armed. That's a false reports about my father having weapons. He's never armed. My father was murdered by Bakersfield Police Department.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. How are you ever going to get the full story on this, I guess? I guess there's a police report, but that you could eventually get.
Yeah,
And-
I'm sure maybe we'll learn more about it. Maybe we won't. I'm sure we will. But my point is, there's obviously something missing from that story, and maybe the police will release their
One way
part-
or the other.
Or there'll be some
Yeah.
body cam that comes out and shows the guy was, waving a knife or a fucking shovel at police. Who knows?
Yelling racist things because he's an old white man.
Yeah, maybe working in the cotton gin.
Yeah.
He remembers the good old days at the cotton gin.
You're right.
Back before the gins, and we had real cotton pickers, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Fucking Cerna again, going off the deep end, and so maybe it just was simply a cop rolled up and put 9 bullets in
You think
Cerna.
a cop just rolled up, some guy goes, there he is, and boom, 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 boom.
That's what the story would lead you to believe. I've known many cops and find that highly out of character if any of them did that, but could have happened. I love these stories. These people that act like. Oh my God! I can't believe that happened. I can't believe young males would act that way.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
There was a.
What was it? The Harvard soccer team we were talking about a month ago or a few weeks ago that were like rating the chicks on the soccer team, the other soccer team, and they suspended the season.
Can't
And
believe it.
oh, this is outrageous.
Well, as we learned from Hillary in the debates, right? And Donald, now he rates women on a scale of 1 to 10.
and
It's like,
every guy in the audience and
like-
every guy watching TV is like, yeah, who hasn't done that a time or two?
yeah. It's funny. You talk about what did you when you were introducing this? Even you're talking about something about women being shocked. How did you phrase that? There was a reason because it triggered from something last night. When I was doing comedy last night, there was a comic that brought up something about masturbation and being typical kind of male comic on the level of depression or being to the point where he's just masturbating into some shirt and now he's depressed that when he has to go do his laundry, like, look what I've done.
Yeah.
And there was some girl, and I think she was even one of the comics, and she was like in the front, legitimately grossed out by this thought of like
What?
not really even any level of thinking how guys are when they masturbate, and like, why would you do that? And why would you put it there? And like, and then she's like, why, and he's like, well, what do you think I'm gonna put when I masturbate, where it goes? And I think she ended up alluding to like, well, why wouldn't you like put it in the toilet? And the comic kind of just, this one was actually one of in my opinion, the more funny guys of the evening. And I think he just said, like, I think you're giving guys a lot of credit of when and where we decided to start masturbating. Like this, like we don't go. It's not like we're sitting. You and me are sitting.
Well thought out and planned.
Yeah, like I'm not at home and like it's not like okay, make my dinner.
Ooh,
watch-
7:30, almost time to masturbate.
Oh yeah, let me just go into the bathroom and then.
It could be you're watching a TV commercial, a Kleenex commercial comes on, and a hot chick is showing off Kleenex. And you're like, ooh.
Dude, it could be fucking anything, dude. It just could be
Then
like,
you're on YouPorn or YouJizz.
right, dude. And so yeah, I wish I could remember more of the the back and forth between these two. But I remember his line I thought was very right of like you're, ma'am, you are like, look at lady, you are really overestimating how much thought goes into when males masturbate, and which is true.
Just males' behavior
Girls
in
just
general.
don't,
I
and
feel
girls
like
just
they're-
don't get it. I understand that they can't in a way, but like.
Yeah. Well, it just seems like it's so over the line now, and I guess like that shit's gone on forever. Like guys have been pigs, guys have been creeps, guys have been like that's just kind of the way we're hardwired in a way. I'm not saying that gives you a
all good.
license.
It's not.
I'm not saying that gives you a license to catcall. I'm not saying that gives you a license to grab a chick, grab her by the pussy, anything like that. Like I've never done that. I don't catcall women on the streets.
I never have, dude. I've never been into like, hey, baby.
Never.
Or what, like you said, I've never had a thought of like on the times I've been on subways of grinding up, like just not even like over like a long time, just like walking by and brushing by and putting my dick on a, you know.
But if you get a group of guys, and this, I don't even want to say young guys, because I still play this game to this very moment.
Right.
Where I've told you about how I'll sometimes scream downstairs, get up here, emergency, and he'll come up and be like, would you? And I'll just have
Right.
a girl paused on the TV, and he's like, well, yeah, of course I would. Like that stuff, like it's commonplace for us to be watching TV and see a bunch of like a panel of people. There might be two girls and two guys talking, and it's almost inevitable where it's like, I wish we could see the bottom half of her. What's going on there? I'm a little concerned about that.
Well, that's the thing. That's a two-part question. Would you? Because you always have to. It's first, would you? And then there's a rare time when I'm like, no, but it's not. That's pretty rare. It's usually yes.
It's very rare.
And then the second part of that question is the analyzing her and what's good and what's bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean.
And my point is that it's just something that goes on that guys do, but it's being called out in society,
right,
left and right now. Social media doesn't help this. Where I don't know what the goal is. The goal that nobody has an ill thought about. Wow, that chick's really hot. I'd like to do this or that.
No,
like,
everybody's beautiful. Everybody's beautiful. No one has a flaw.
No, and the thing is, there's no chance that I'm going to hook up with Brianna Keeler from CNN.
Right.
But when Brianna Keeler's on the TV, I'm like, hey, guys, Brianna Keeler, would you? Like, that's just, I don't know why that's funny. It's really not funny, but it's just something we do. No disrespect to Brianna Keeler. Or to Beth, for that matter.
Yeah, or to your living girlfriend.
Yes. No disrespect to any of them. But it seems like an exclusive thing that guys do that is now being so shamed. And like canceling seasons on, like literally stripping sports seasons, because I just, some guys mature faster and some guys grow up and they don't do this. Some guys get married, but when you get guys together, like if you have a high school reunion or if you get a situation like this where you've got us in a room, it's probably going to go there. And
right.
It's just the way it is. So anyway, the men's cross country team at Amherst College in Massachusetts has been suspended from team activities after a number of messages came to light that administrators called misogynistic and homophobic, among other things. The messages surfaced in a report in a student paper. God damn it, these student papers. These reporters on these student papers need to chill out with their jobs.
Come on, freaking.
Quit fucking tattletaling on your other student body. Jesus. The
freaking Woodward and Bernstein working at the fucking high school.
The indicator.
Pressing the hard issues of the cross-country team.
Look what they said about women. So anyway, they sent out as a welcome to incoming freshmen. And this is something that gentlemen will do to bond from time to time. Sometimes you punch each other in the balls. Sometimes you rate other women. It sucks on all levels, but it is what it is. So anyways, the teammates, this is in June of 2015, a junior lists 8 women who are friends of Amherst and comments on their sexual history. He calls one of the women a walking STD.
Nice. I mean, not nice. Actually.
Stay away
Sorry.
from that one, probably.
Sorry, I don't know why I responded like that. Well, I guess nice in the sense that if she has a bunch of STDs, it's probably easier to get with.
And then he said of another one, well, everyone needs their meat slab. In other words, like if you're just looking for a hole to pound,
right.
That one will do. He also referred to another woman in regard to this story. He said, without being too mean, she's a stuck-up, snobby bitch, a.k.a. the perfect formal date for the desperate members of our team.
Nice.
That seemed terrible to you?
Yeah.
Those are really the only messages I've seen. So if there's
Okay.
some about, like, if there's some horrible faggot that, I don't know. Maybe those,
Yeah,
maybe
we're the
those are there, too.
homophobic ones.
I don't know. They
Okay,
said something about racist, too, but I didn't
Gotcha.
see any of those. But
Gotcha.
the email drew criticism. This turd. So the incoming freshmen get this
Yeah.
from the other, to welcome them. Like, hey, when you get here, we'll get working on our track team. But just so you're aware, FYI, stay away from old Susie here. She's a walking STD, and this one's a stuck-up, snobby bitch, blah, blah, blah. So one of the teammates gets this email.
Oh, no.
And he wrote back, that is one of the most fucked up things I've ever read. I know you're friends with most all these girls, but you took it way past friendly messing around. It seem over the line to you?
Look at this hero.
Yeah.
Can't you just, it's not...
If
There
this-
needs to be a level of able to mess around with each other. When you do sports or you do something like we do, or you need to be able to I don't blow off steam. Not steam. What I'm trying to think. It's like a camaraderie thing. You team up. You become a team together by just being fucktards, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's safe to say because that's kind of what it is.
I mean, come on, dude. Can't you just, even if you don't like it, I mean, unless it was like, dude, of course, if these things were like, oh, we're gonna rape these chicks, or hey, our goal is to see how many,
how many we can bang in the next week.
Right? Like we're expected. As a freshman, you're expected to bang one of these chicks in the next week. So here's their list.
Here's the plan. We're going to have a party, and the goal is to get them as drunk as possible, and then take advantage.
And you will sleep
and
with
you
one
will
of them.
fuck one of these maggots. Like you could see a guy going, "Hey guys, fuck off, man. I'm not
into
but,
right."
And I think there is a distinction. Some people would say there's not, and there's probably plenty of people listening right now that are like, "You guys are fucking assholes." But I'm just telling you what reality is. As
You're
guys,
never
we
going
know
to stop people talking like locker room talk.
and maybe we're poor examples because the culture of what we do for a living, and Jay understands this less than we do, obviously. But for someone like me or E, who's basically just been able to do this kind of thing for our whole lives, adult lives, anyways. Like, this is all we know. It never really ended. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining that right.
Right.
So maybe we're bad
Oh, I'm sure that we
examples.
are. I'm sure that we. I'm very immature, and I've never been in a professional setting, technically ever. I mean, the closest I've ever came was my Holland radio job, and even that's not. Well,
Yeah.
that was actually pretty stuffy. But I just didn't.
That was a Christian station.
Yeah, it
though.
was. It wasn't a Christian station, but it was a very Christian-friendly station, and
Yeah.
I didn't even let them know I was on Facebook, or I never talked about
Good
doing
move.
comedy or anything like that. There.
Yeah, it seems like one of those things. You get an email like that, you just blow it off.
Can't you just
and
look
and
at
if you really had a problem with that, I think if you just the guys on the team will know, like, okay, Jay doesn't play ball. He and you fuck around with the guys that do. No big deal. So anyways, when this guy wrote back, "Oh my God, that was the most fucked up thing I've ever read. I know you're friends with those girls, but that's crazy." Then the response came right back from the original email, who wrote back immediately to apologize. "I'd like to follow up on my teammates and these guys' emails with a very sincere apology of my own. As many have said, the summer email chain is a time to poke fun at various members of the Amherst community, but I realize now that I took it over the top. It is no conciliation, but please know that most, if not all, of what I said was horribly exaggerated. I'm sorry that I had to do that for a laugh." Which you think would be good enough, and that's probably 100% true. Look, man, over the top exaggeration, trying to get a laugh out of
Right.
the team and incoming people, consider it a bonding mistake, whatever. But it's not like he fought back and was like, "Hey, fuck you, pussy." He apologized right away. Of course, administrators find out about the email because this dude publishes it in the school newspaper, which now blasts it out to these girls who didn't know anything about it. And now they're, stuck dealing with it too. So I think it makes it even worse, but that's just my opinion. So they found out about it, and the president, Biddy Martin, calls the messages appalling, vulgar, and cruel. These exchanges are supposedly meant to welcome new teammates and introduce them to the culture of our team. My reaction is one of profound sadness, disappointment, and anger. The conduct of those involved flagrantly violates Amherst principles and most basic form of decency and respect. And so they've the suspension of the cross country team, they've suspended him now. Now the team has come out with a statement too. "We, the members of the men's cross country team, sincerely and of course deeply apologize for the pain caused by our recently published remarks. There are no words to justify what was said, and we are all responsible for the harm inflicted by our teammates' comments. We are embarrassed and ashamed by what was said by some members of our team. We aim to hold ourselves to high standards of respect, but we have fallen painfully short, blah, blah, blah. At this time, our team is looking at our individual roles in fostering a toxic culture, meeting with specific groups who were directly impacted by the email contacts, and reaching out to resources on campus that can best help us understand how we have affected others and what concrete steps we can take as a team to be better." How about you just don't write shitty things in an email, asshole? If that's really your concern, it's not that hard. You don't need to go to school to learn how to not be a dickhead.
Right.
Like, dude, you were trying to be funny. That's it. That's it. You're going to cancel the fucking school system for things guys have done for 1 billion years. That I don't get. But you don't need to reach out for resources. How about you just don't talk about how you'd like to fuck Susie?
Someone just, dude, they didn't even write that. Some lawyer wrote that for them, and they put it out on behalf. You know what I mean? I know what you're saying. I just don't believe they just.
It's just
It's what everybody has to
insulting.
do now.
Like,
Everyone has to
like
pretend.
now we need to meet with groups. We need to do this. They end it by saying, "We deeply sorry again for this, and hope to work with the community moving forward."
What are you gonna do, really? I'd like to follow up and see what they do with the community moving forward to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know
I
what
want to
they
see those
do.
follow-ups. I want to, go to that town and see, like, start asking questions because they're not gonna do shit, dude.
The fact is, there is no follow up needed. Either you learn from that and you go, fuck, man, I personally, I need to look at that. I guess if I don't want to insult people, if I want to make sure to never insult another person on the planet, don't write shitty emails about chicks and rate them. I guess you could do that.
Dude, I don't know how going
No one
forward,
should need to tell you how to do that, by the
right.
way.
I don't know going forward how, like I have no, as we've talked so many times, I have no even plan to move into any real job, technically. Like, you know
Good
what I
for
mean?
you, E.
But honestly, even just people working at the Rite Aid, even someone working at Meijer or the mall or the movie theater, I mean, dude, why would just having a Twitter account, I mean, it's like everyone, like you say, everyone just wants someone fired. Everyone needs someone fired for something.
Mm-hmm.
I was offended. And dude, I mean, it's like you could literally just be a cashier at Rite Aid now, I feel like. And what if you're pro-Trump and you have a few pro-Trump things in a row, and then someone finds out and says, this cashier at Rite Aid in Wixom, Michigan is pro-Trump, and she's a racist, and does Rite Aid stand for this?
Yeah.
Like, I think there's an argument to be made that could be coming.
Oh,
I mean, right
it
now
is
they're kind of
coming.
doing it with
It is.
radio and they're doing it with TV. But if you think that's not going to trickle down,
Of course it trickles down, and that's always the fear with something like this. Like, if you want to suspend the school activities because you found out that members of the team, like they did at Baylor, gang raped girls, yeah, I agree. You should suspend the thing. But I don't know, things like this where it's like, yeah, boys being, but that's such a boys being boys moment. Now, I guess in fairness to the school administrators, and maybe I'm lumping them all in together when you read these stories time and time again from Yale or Harvard or anywhere else where this culture of just being a guy is under attack, their reactions seem to go so far over the top, like trying to prove how progressive they are, how PC everybody is. And I just don't think I think it goes against nature in a way.
I don't even mind a suspension or something, or
Send a message, whatever. If it's that big a deal, sure. You're suspended for the first track meet at Amherst. Who cares?
Whatever, yeah, something, but not that to the extent, and like you said, to the extent that the letters that they put out there. And I mean, it is just, and it's not, and you've made this point more than anybody. It's not even just this. It's like how they handle this now. It's like you're not allowed to have a job. Like, are these kids allowed to do anything going forward? Are they allowed to go to college? I mean,
Yeah.
Are they?
No, they should probably be expelled.
Right.
Let's see if we can ruin their lives because of their white privilege.
I mean, remember that one story of there was, God, I don't even remember the close to the story, but it was a situation like this where somebody got offended, and now they're like, oh, we contacted their college, and we're hoping that they're not going to accept a person with this. And I don't remember what the story read specifically, but dude, that step is coming more often than it's going to become more and more. Like, people will just, because now with social media, you do this to these kids, and again, not that they shouldn't have been punished, not that it was even okay necessarily.
Well, I think it's very easy for a college. I mean, let's be honest. The Amherst track and field team is not paying the bills at Amherst.
Of course not.
It's a bullshit sport. No offense to anybody that ran track. No offense to you, E.
I'd like to hang
but
out
it's
in that
not.
well,
but it's not paying any of the bills. You want to make a point. Baylor did everything they could to bury, the rape charges and silence people and shut them the fuck up. That culture went on and probably goes on at most universities. But when you start canceling football seasons for shit like that, then you can go, wow, okay, well, they really took offense at this. But it's really easy to make an example and get national headlines.
You're right, of
for how
cross-country.
wonderful and progressive you are by canceling the track season. What did it cost you to do the track season? $50 in uniforms per kid.
Right.
You
No,
know what I
you're
mean?
right.
Like it's just not. And I think you get all the credit for being uber progressive in the snap of a finger. For God forbid you offend someone.
What a shot! I'd love to sit in on some of these these people that wrote this statement, from the school and like you read out. I'd love to see when they sit around and have their meetings, and the guys being guys, as if, just like, we talked about, what was it, Biden or whatever, came out against Trump. I forget which one he was, but he was like, I would never stand for talk like that. And if I was in a locker room, I'd pin him up against the wall.
I'd like to take him out back and, out back behind the locker room, if you know what I mean.
You fucking liar.
Yeah.
You fucking liar. You do a Washington, you're in the Washington game. The fucking
we have it on
whitest.
very credible, he was the one, right, that was
Yes.
walking, that we know someone personally who was asked if
So you're
if she
gonna
would
suck the
suck
stick?
my cock. You're going to suck my cock?
Or what? Kind of like, or what, or something.
To someone, yeah.
But if
I would never. I'd like to take him out back behind the locker room, and if you know what I mean.
They better
What are you
fucking
gonna
watch
beat him
out,
up,
dude.
sir?
Turnabout's fair play, man. They better watch out, because, dude, if you start pressing, you're gonna come out with that attitude. I would take them out back. Do you think there's not gonna be eventually? You're gonna have an enemy. Dude, it's going to be easier and easier that audio is going to be leaked of things. People are going to you could just walk in a room with my iPhone on record, start talking locker room talk. What do you think about Jessica out there at the receptionist?
Yeah.
And then pretty soon I got you on my iPhone. Did I get it legally or not? It doesn't even matter.
And honestly, I think it's way worse to go. You will never find audio of me going up to a girl going, how about you suck my cock?
Never.
You'll never find that audio of me, Jay, or E.
No, you won't.
You might find audio of us talking upstairs.
Like, I'd like.
Hey, man, I wouldn't mind having that chick. I wonder if she gives good head. Like, that might be a comment you'd hear from me or E.
No, but you're right.
But you wouldn't hear us walk up to an actual girl and say something like that, ever.
Right. And and I know you know what I mean, because it's the thing that bugs you the most. But like I just described there, dude, like this person that we were talking about. Again, I don't even remember the politician, but he says that
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. He makes that brash claim, dude. And if you had the ability ever with some of these guys to get in a room, dude, it's just record on. Like I said, hit record on my iPhone, start talking. And then who cares if I obtained anything legally or not? Walk out, boom, look at him talking like this.
Yeah.
If you just keep I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get dangerous for them too if you're going to treat
it already
so
has.
seriously.
They're already eating their own, and it doesn't
Exactly.
seem to slow
That's a
anything
word.
down.
That's a phrasing
And
that
it's like, you see uber progressives coming out, and they're not progressive enough, or they fuck up and say the wrong word, or they, oh my God, you offended people by, and it's like you're trying to defend them, you still step in it, like you can't win.
Right.
What's his name? Who's the portly little fat comic that was making that point? I guess he stepped in something and was like, we need to stop doing this to each other when someone's clearly on your team and they step in it, or
Yeah, I can't
say
remember what you're
something.
talking about this time. Not Oswald,
Yeah.
right? Not Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt.
Okay.
It was, yeah. But he said something like that, where it was like, dude, and it's along those lines of the other guy, the actor that was like, talking about colored actors and how we need to have more roles in Hollywood for colored actors, and people are like, oh my God, colored actors, and they
It's like,
ate
dude,
him
he said
alive.
a positive thing.
He was trying to defend whatever, but
Ellen, with the Olympics with Usain Bolt, where she sends a person who,
Yeah.
dude, came out in the Ellen show as a lesbian when it was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
Totally a progressive person, totally a liberal.
couldn't be more liberal progressive.
All she
than
has
her.
is the tweet saying, "Oh, I know what I'm using the ride to get errands from now on." Oh my! So you think she thinks he looks like that's what she thinks of a black man?
Yeah, you can just ride on his back. Yeah,
Anyway.
it's absurd. Anyway, we should wrap things up. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
get to one email, but I wanted to get Mark's read in. You all know Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial by now. He is offering our listeners a great special. If you're one of the next 10 listeners to make an appointment for a no-cost, no-obligation portfolio review, he'll give you a $50 gift certificate to your favorite restaurant. You can use that as a Christmas gift for someone, for Christ's sake. Go in there, hang out with Mark for 20 minutes. He's a great dude anyways. Maybe you'll find something out about your portfolio that changes, and we'll be good to go. But if not, take the $50 gift certificate, wrap it up, and give it to your parents, your brother, your sister, your whatever for Christmas. Knock that off the list. Let Merck take care of it for you. If you've been thinking about calling Mark, now is the time to do it. Call 248-626-2000 and ask for Mark.
Sorry, dude, I can't.
Oh, you can't find it, E?
Oh, here we go.
You want to do it live?
Yeah, I'll do it.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Yeah.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Fucker. Where is it here at the bottom?
E.
Okay.
think.
Okay.
I got through that read as a pro.
Right, okay.
I only think I said the F word twice through that entire read.
Okay.
I handled it like a pro. I didn't
Okay.
laugh. I didn't giggle. I didn't fuck anything up.
Okay.
Now, we have not officially closed the Mark Leibovitz LPL Financial read yet, so don't fuck up my perfect read.
Okay, keep a perfect game going. Securities and advisory service offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor member, FINRA SIPC.
Remember what?
FINRA SIPC. FINRA. I think that was pretty
job.
good, dude,
Yeah,
considering you were flicking the
I was
page.
not. That's a bullshit. I was not flicking
There's a
anything.
YouTube video.
Oh, shit.
Thought that wasn't that bad.
I apologize deeply.
Yeah, come on now.
I am sorry. I'm going to work with
know what?
community leaders to figure out how to not
I'm-
fuck with E on a regular basis.
Don't know how you're going to even do the show tomorrow in good conscience.
He's
I think you
taking
press-
advantage of the disabled. Did you see the way he treats that retarded boy?
Dude, how can we, with all this shit going on, how can we not say somebody? We need, if our listeners really like the show, I think they would call some of these groups and tell them that that what you guys are saying about me.
I wish they would.
I know. No, and I'm not, I don't care.
I mean, we tried heckling Al Sharpton. That didn't work.
Right. We need,
Yeah.
what can you do, like, I guess, to get someone.
Dude, we call you retarded every day,
know,
and nobody's
somebody
complained
should-
to anybody. But
Please,
whatever.
take offense somebody, because I don't have a soul, I guess, so whatever, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Right now, you can like and retweet our tweets, especially when we target an interview guest. That will help a lot. And if it gets serious, we might have you start helping us email some of these people to demand that they come on our show. Right now, we don't need to do that yet. But if you see my tweet, I pinned it to the top of my Twitter at Walters Radio, and please retweet it if you haven't. Make a comment on there too.
Yeah.
Make a comment on that and say, yeah, dude, you should go on this show. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Help
it's
us
got
out.
some
Help a
good
brother
legs,
out.
But it could, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it doesn't have as many retweets as my gun tweet that one time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Dude,
about that one. I
which
forgot
was
about
fucking
that one.
madness. That was just like literally boop, 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 boop. Like my phone. It's crazy to watch when a tweet starts to take off.
Do you have any recollection how much it ended up hitting? Was it in the hundreds? Or?
Yeah, it was in the hundreds, but it all came in a flash, and so it was like I don't know if you know when you get that little message that says,
Oh, yeah.
so and so liked or retweeted your
Yours was
post.
just-
And it was like bing, 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 for hours. It was just as they kept coming in. So yeah, it
that
was
should have offended somebody too. That's kind of bullshit. But
my.
no, I don't think it should have. But
my
I mean,
gun
it,
one?
It should have offended somebody enough to. What do you got to? It's almost like Wayne
Yeah,
Fence. What do you got to do?
shit
To
around
get,
here?
what do you got to do to get fired around here? What do you
Yeah.
got to? What do you got to do to get? I don't know. What the
Retweeted around here?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got a email, and this goes back to a couple days ago when we were talking about how possibly drove off a bunch of listeners just with your retardedness and whatnot.
Oh, what you mean a couple days ago or a couple months ago? I mean,
Well,
every day.
basically every day,
It's just
but
one of the better versions. One of the more
Specifically, I
articulate.
remember having this conversation the other day. And we were
Okay.
talking about maybe he ran off a bunch of listeners, but those ones have been long gone. Probably.
Oh, this was when you were talking about how if I died soon, this would be the best time for me to die, and the reasoning is the people that are still listening, like. If they're still listening, it means that they either can deal with me enough, or like
Or
the
have
people that
learned to
hate me are
accept
gone.
you.
Right?
Yeah, the
People
ones that
me.
hate you are gone. And
This
so
isn't
I
going to be someone that hates me emailing in, is it?
So yeah, it was Bone Job. Bone Job emailed in, and we thought he stopped he used
Yeah.
to email a lot and
Regular.
and, yeah, when he cared about the show, he emailed a lot. Like him and Larissa Issa Sexy Fucking Sister, they worked together,
Right.
And so they would email and listen, and then Bone Job kind of dropped off, and it was like, oh, I guess we lost Boner. But he would send us emails all the time, like, fuck E, I can't stand this retard, he's ruining the show.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And so it was one of those things where if Jay and I didn't have more of a backbone, maybe we would have caved to that E.
Right.
And said, we've made the executive decision.
I
in
walked in
light
every
of
day thinking that might happen.
in light of Bone Job's comments, we have come to understand that some of you, in fact, probably most of you, cannot stand this retarded gentleman, Big E. Today will be his last day on the show. But Jay and I never did that, and so we just assumed since he hadn't emailed much that he'd finally just Big E'd off and was gone. So he writes in.
Okay.
Maybe this is meant for another show, but I think it was meant to us. He wrote it to us. Hey, Jay and Mike, not true. You drove off all the Big E that you drove all the Big E haters off. I've never missed an episode, and have in no way stopped hating Etard. He's bad for the show and has absolutely no talent whatsoever. and is going nowhere with love. And I'm going nowhere with love, Connor. I think he meant Bone Job.
Wow, yeah, I think he did.
So even your biggest haters, E.
This must be a really good show then.
Yeah.
Or you
Seriously.
must. I mean, see, the funny thing is, you're reading that like, and that could just boost your. Well, actually, I'm glad. Unfortunately, Jay already read it, but to me, that could just boost your guys' massive ego because like you could just be like
Our massive
well,
egos.
Jay at least, because it
Yeah.
could be just be like they hate him so much, and yet they still want to listen to my opinions.
They want to hear me.
Jay, Detroit Cast, talk about the news and events of the day, despite the fact that he fucking hates that E guy.
He's willing to put up with that fucking retard, Big E, because I'm so great.
Because
It all levels out in the end. Well, I have no self-confidence, E, so it's not me. If Jay feels like that, I don't know. Maybe he does, but it's good to know that Bone
I'm
Job is
glad
still
to know
hanging in
that.
there. Yeah,
I don't care whether you hate me or not, as long as you're shucking the download
that's
every day.
pretty remarkable because what I think is most people, when they get to know you and genuinely hear you and get past some of your most obnoxious retarded faults,
Right.
and just get to the true like onion peeled self, I think that it comes across what like a genuinely decent person you are. And I know that's uncomfortable to even say right now, but I think people pick up on that, and so it's Bone Job's a stubborn one.
Right,
I mean,
right.
for him to still
I'd
hate
like
you
to-
this much is powerful.
I'd like to throw this out to him almost. Like, I'd like to think that I have gotten a little better in some areas of this show. I'm not. Look,
Boy,
I'm
that's
not,
a strong statement. I don't know if that's true.
I think I've gotten a little better.
I don't know about
I
that.
said a little. I mean,
well, you know, I'm just saying
from
that's up
0
for
to
debate.
5 is better than out of 100. Zero, like if it's 0 to 100. If you
Yeah.
start at 0, I mean, even if I think I moved up to 5
Yeah, if
out
you
of
piss the
100,
bed 7 days a week, and then it's like, well, I didn't piss the bed last night. I'm getting better. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, okay. You want to take a lot of stock in that
pissing
one
the bed,
night.
that really, I mean, I think we've talked about on the show, but that hits a spot. You know that, right? Like how we've talked about on the show that I had a pissing the bed problem.
Till
I'm trying to think. I was in the new house, so
you were in the manor.
Yeah. Well, because like we've talked about it on the show, but I guess so. I don't know if I need to. If you want me to explain this story again or not.
No,
but-
we can save it. I'd like to ask you more questions about it. Maybe you touched on it. I typically don't
Well,
listen when you talk. That's the
okay.
problem. So it's very
Well,
possible that I missed it.
I don't know what the problem was, but I was having a problem to the point where we went to a doctor to talk about it. And
yeah, did you
and
get rubber sheets?
We probably did, but there was also like the doctor. Essentially, what his advice ended up being was like, well, give him like, do like a bonus system where you give him a goal that if. And like every night I don't wet the bread, you'll be like a star or something. And then if you do it a certain amount
Every
of
kid loves
if you
a
do it
gold
for-
star.
If you do it for a month or whatever it was, then you give him this prize.
Are you
And I
still
think
getting
that's-
gold stars? By the way?
No, but that
Okay.
but that solved it, I guess, because I guess as
Really?
a kid, I was able to have this shoot at this goal of like, yeah. I mean, dude, I remember we were talking yesterday about having
like
one friend.
12, 13,
No,
16?
not that. No. No, definitely not that old. I'm trying to think how old you would be in second grade. Ish.
7, 6.
Yeah, so maybe not into fourth. Definitely not. So I don't know about third. I can't even
That's
speak
not
for
that
third.
abnormal.
No, but I was doing it all the time.
Like on
I'm
purpose?
No, but I'm not talking. Like I just remember, you know how yesterday we discussed like me having like one friend up until fourth
Sure.
grade. I would spend the night at his house once in a while, and he would spend the night at mine. And his mom, she was nice, but she was very one of those very high strung kind of people. And I got to the point where I didn't want to sleep at his house anymore because I'd wake up and if I felt that wetness, I'd just be
Ugh,
like,
that'd
oh,
be
God.
horrifying, dude.
Oh God.
I
Oh,
did that
God.
drunk one night at a friend's house
Oh,
and
I've been
pissed on his
drunk
couch.
before, but-
yeah,
but I'm talking
and that's horrifying. That's
Yeah.
horrifying. I pissed on a friend once.
Yeah. you
Remember?
telling
Yeah,
me
and
about
he
that.
let me finish because he
Yeah.
didn't want me to spray all over his
Yes,
room.
I remember.
Which I thought was a nice move. I said I would have punched me in the face, but
I think
he
at
was
that
like,
point
"Nah,
you're
dude, I
already
just."
being pissed on.
Yeah, he woke up to being pissed on. And he was just like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "What'd you do?" He's like, "I just let you finish. I didn't want you to piss all over everything." I was like, "Yeah, that's a good move."
Right.
Fair
A lot of
enough.
restraint there.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I don't know why we talked about me pissing.
Thought it was in the bathroom, by the way.
Yeah, of course. I don't know why it came out with me pissing my pants, but
Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about getting better and
getting credit. Yeah.
Yeah. You said pissing your pants and
Anyway, all right, E, let's get out of here. We've gone long enough. Thanks everybody for hanging with us. I'm sorry, Jay was only here for the first 35, 40 minutes of it, but he'll be back tomorrow. As will E and I. We'll do it again then. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.